And this news broke out late yesterday. Billionaire, wow, he looks evil there, doesn't he? Billionaire investor Mark Cuban is selling a majority stake of the Dallas Mavericks to Miriam Adelson and her family.
Mark Cuban, the man who practically bleeds Mavericks blue, just waved goodbye to his beloved Dallas Mavericks after a whooping 23-year stint as the big boss. Why on earth would the guy who practically turned the Mavs into a hoops powerhouse decide to part ways with his basketball bay? For 23 years, Mark has been the guy making it rain three-pointers and championships for the team. The dude wasn't just sitting on his laurels, sipping billionaire smoothies and counting championship rings. No sir, Mark Cuban, being the savvy entrepreneur he is, saw an opportunity to pass the torch to a fresh face, a new captain to steer the Maverick ship. It's like Mark Cuban said, hey, I've taken the team to the stratosphere, but it's time for someone else to take the reins and steer us to even greater heights. It's like going from a solid 10 to an 11 on the basketball awesomeness scale. No doubt about it, folks. Mark Cuban isn't your average NBA owner. He's basically the rock star of team owners. Like, when was the last time you saw another owner sweating it out on the sidelines, shouting like they've got a front row ticket to their own show? Yeah, didn't think so. Let's rewind the clock to November 1999. Picture this, a diehard Mavs fan, a dude with a season ticket in hand, looking at his beloved team and thinking, why isn't this place packed to the rafters every game? Well, that dude was none other than Mark Cuban, and instead of just complaining about it, he decided to throw down a cool $285 million to buy the whole dang team. Why did he do it? Well, according to Cuban, it's because he thought he could sprinkle some of his magic dust and make the Mavericks not just better but also sell more tickets. Now 6 weeks of patience and a boatload of cash later, and bam, Mark Cuban was the proud owner of the Dallas Mavericks. Let's take a stroll down memory lane. 20 years before Cuban swooped in, the Mavericks were basically the underdogs of the NBA, winning only 40% of the games, playoff records that made you cringe, and let's not forget that infamous 90s title for being the worst sports franchise. I wasn't writing that big of a check just to stand around, said Cuban, but wait, there's more. This guy even made his email public. Yeah, you heard it right. He was out there in the digital trenches, responding to fan emails, getting suggestions on how to amp up the game day experience. Whether it was about winning the first NBA championship, sorting out business stuff, or making a killer dunk, Cuban was all in. Mark Cuban, being the tech-savvy genius he is, decided to bring the Mavericks into the 21st century. Now let's talk fines. You know how some owners might break a sweat over a parking ticket? Well, Mark Cuban is not one of those guys. The maverick of an owner has racked up a cool $4 million in fines. That's right. But here's the cherry on top. The Mavericks' first and only NBA championship. Mavericks were practically the NBA's poster child for missing the playoffs. 10 seasons straight, folks. But Mark didn't just break the curse. He shattered it into a million pieces. Fast forward to 2006 and the Mavericks are rocking the NBA Finals. But unfortunately, the Miami Heat had other plans. It was a heartbreaking loss. But did Cuban throw in the towel? Nope. Fast forward to 2011 and guess what? The Mavericks get their sweet revenge, beating the Miami Heat in a rematch and clinching their first ever NBA championship. The Dallas Mavericks hold the record for the longest and most active all-time NBA sellout streaks. That's right, folks. The American Airlines Center, the Mavs' home turf, has been a thunderstorm of cheers for 935 straight games and counting. Let's rewind to the early 2000s. The Mavs were decent in attendance, ranking 14th in the NBA during the 2001/2002 season. Fast forward to today, and guess who's sitting pretty at the top of the attendance charts? Yup, the Mavericks, claiming the #1 spot. Between 2017 and 2019, the Mavs hit a bit of a slump, missing the playoffs for 3 consecutive seasons. It wasn't until the 2022 playoff series that the Mavericks rose like a phoenix, making it to the Western Conference Finals and smashing through the first round of playoffs. Talk about a comeback. Mark Cuban's tenacity and his hand-on involvement in the team, even during the rough patches, that's as unbreakable as a Shaq slam dunk. And let's talk numbers for a sec. That $285 million investment Mark made in 1999, it's now a team valued at a jaw-dropping $4.5 billion according to Forbes, the 7th most valuable team in the entire NBA. Now let's meet the new player in town, or should we say the new owner, Dr. Miriam Adelson and the Adelson family, big shots in the casino world. Owners of the Las Vegas Sands, the granddaddy of all casino companies. So why on earth did Cuban, the guy who practically eats, sleeps, and breathes Mavericks, decide to part ways with his beloved team? Was it a midlife crisis? Did he suddenly lose faith in the NBA's long-term growth? Or did he need some extra cash for his next big venture? Now Miriam Adelson, with a net worth that could buy a small country, instantly becomes one of the NBA's wealthiest owners. She's like the LeBron James of team owners. But she won't be running the show day to day. So why buy a team from a basketball maestro like Mark Cuban only to let him call the shots? Here's where it gets interesting. Last year, Cuban spilled the beans that he was eyeing a partnership with Las Vegas Sands to build a new resort and casino around the Mavericks' next arena. The current Mavericks nest, the American Airlines Center, is over 2 decades old, and Cuban is thinking, why not level up? Building a new arena with a resort and casino could skyrocket the franchise's value and shower the state with jobs, tourism, and taxes. And let's not forget the elephant in the room: legalizing casinos in Texas. The Adelson family has been playing the political game, donating big bucks to Texas campaigns, hiring more lobbyists than a blockbuster movie premiere, and rubbing shoulders with other Texas tycoons like Tillman Fertitta and Jerry Jones. The goal? To legalize casinos in the Lone Star State. It's like a high-stakes poker game, and Mark Cuban just threw in his chips. Now let's debunk a common misconception. It's not just about gambling. Cuban is playing the long game, and he wants you to see it as a tourism bill, not just a gambling bill. Sure, the thrill of a good poker game might be the hook, but the real gold mine is turning Texas into a destination that people worldwide plan their vacations around. Cuban dropped the bomb that the American Airlines Center, the Mavs' current nest, might need a makeover. So to keep the Mavericks and the city from losing out on that sweet cash, Cuban's got a plan. Make Dallas a must-stop for sports and gambling enthusiasts. And he's not just talking about a regular stop, he's dreaming big. Little is known about Cuban's role post-sale, bringing in Nico Harrison as the general manager in 2021. Now Harrison, the man with the plan, has already brought in some serious structural changes to the team. It's like going from a free-spirited road trip to a well-organized expedition. Former GM Donnie Nelson's era is in the rearview mirror, and the Mavs are cruising into uncharted waters. With a billionaire powerhouse like the Adelson family backing the team and Cuban's visionary spirit still at the helm, the dynamic duo of Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving might just get some A-list teammates. We're talking about role players and teammates strong enough to send shockwaves to the NBA and land the Mavericks their second championship. Imagine the Mavs with a brand new privately financed $1 billion arena downtown, complete with a casino crowd. It's like a hoops fantasy come to life. Now, not everyone's on board with Cuban's grand plan. Some NBA fans are scratching their heads, wondering if a casino is the answer instead of a TV deal that everyone can watch. It sparked a debate with opinions flying left and right. One fan sees Cuban as a business genius, orchestrating a win-win for himself and Dallas. On the flip side, there are skeptics, questioning the choice of a casino over a broader TV audience. In the end, Mavs fans, it's a gamble, but sometimes the biggest risks lead to the greatest rewards. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, there's more basketball magic waiting for you on the next one. Keep the Mavs spirit alive!